Is your hospital following the right standards of care? Here's how to find out. Have you ever questioned whether your hospital is truly providing the care you deserve? Are they adhering to the right standards, or could their lapses be putting your health at risk? In the Philippines, hospitals and healthcare institutions are held to strict standards to ensure patient safety and high-quality care. These standards are based on both medical ethics and the law, making sure that when we enter a hospital, we are protected from negligence, errors, or inadequate care. Understanding whether your hospital is meeting these standards is crucial because failure to do so can lead to serious harm. And in some cases, it might even cost lives. Learning about these standards today is essential, as it equips you with the knowledge to protect yourself or your loved ones in the future. Before we dive into this vital topic, be sure to subscribe to our channel to stay updated on important legal matters that could directly affect your health and safety.
What are the standards of care? The term standards of care refers to the minimum level of service that healthcare providers and institutions must offer to ensure the safety and well-being of patients. In the Philippines, these standards are not just a guideline, they are embedded in law and enforced through regulations that govern hospitals. Hospitals are required to meet certain criteria in terms of staffing, cleanliness, patient care, medical equipment, and record-keeping. The Department of Health, DOH, through the Hospital Licensure Act, mandates these standards to protect public health. The Civil Code of the Philippines, particularly Article 2176, holds hospitals liable for damages in cases where they fail to meet these standards and cause harm to patients through negligence or oversight. Hospitals are expected to provide the same level of care that any other similarly situated institution would under comparable circumstances. Legal framework: hospitals' duty of care. Under the Philippine legal system, hospitals have a duty of care to their patients. This duty arises the moment a patient steps into the hospital. Hospitals must ensure that their doctors, nurses, and medical staff meet professional standards, are properly trained, and are following safety protocols to avoid risks to patients. Failure to follow these standards may result in a claim of medical negligence, a form of quasi-delict under Article 2176 of the Civil Code. A quasi-delict occurs when a person, through fault or negligence, causes damage to another, even if there is no contractual relationship. This principle applies equally to hospitals. For instance, in the case of Our Lady of Lourdes Hospital v. Spouses Capanzana, GR number 189218, 2017, the Supreme Court ruled that hospitals can be held liable for the negligence of their staff. In this case, a failure to properly monitor a patient during childbirth led to brain damage in the infant. The hospital was found liable for not adhering to the standard of care expected of healthcare institutions, emphasizing the importance of hospitals ensuring that their medical teams follow the highest standards of care.
(3) The role of hospital management in ensuring standards. Hospitals are not merely brick-and-mortar structures, they are complex organizations responsible for the lives of their patients. Hospital administrators must ensure that every department adheres to protocols that minimize risks to patients. From sterilizing equipment to properly recording patient histories, there are numerous ways a hospital can fail to meet the required standard of care. A particularly relevant case is Professional Services Incorporated v. Agana, GR number 126297, 2007, which dealt with the doctrine of corporate negligence. This doctrine makes hospitals directly liable for the negligent acts of their doctors and staff if the hospital fails in its duties, such as providing a safe environment or hiring competent medical professionals. In this case, the hospital was held accountable for failing to oversee its staff properly, contributing to a patient's injury. Patients often trust hospitals implicitly, but there are ways to check whether a healthcare institution is following the right standards of care. 1. Accreditation and licensing. Ensure the hospital is accredited by the DOH and other relevant health bodies. 2. Staff credentials. Ask about the qualifications of the healthcare professionals attending to you. This is your right as a patient. 3. Infection control. Hospitals must have infection control protocols in place. Poor hygiene practices, such as dirty rooms or improperly sterilized equipment, are red flags. 4. Patient safety practices. Hospitals should have systems in place for preventing medical errors, such as double-checking medications and ensuring proper handover procedures between staff. Knowing how to recognize these signs can protect you from becoming a victim of medical negligence.
Jurisprudence and the importance of compliance. The Philippine Supreme Court has consistently ruled on cases involving hospitals that fail to meet the required standards of care. For instance, in Rosat v. Davo Doctors Hospital, GR number 210445, 2015, the hospital and its doctors were found negligent after performing a jaw surgery that used improper screws, causing severe complications for the patient. The court applied the doctrine of residential ipsa loquitur, which allows the presumption of negligence when an injury occurs that would not have happened had the proper care been exercised. In medical negligence cases, proving liability requires demonstrating the elements of duty, breach, causation, and damage. Patients need to show that the hospital's failure directly led to their injury, which can be difficult without proper documentation and expert testimony. Hospitals that do not meet standards can face severe financial and reputational damage, and patients have the right to compensation,